Yo guys, what is going on? Racking like another Z-Food review. And today on Z-Food review, we're doing a very special episode today. As most of you guys know, March Madness is about to begin. And, you know, everyone in March Madness, you always gotta fill out a nice bracket here. So I have printed off this nice bracket, and I will be giving you a rundown on my picks and an explanation for every single pick that I'm picking here. So this will be a long video, guys, so make sure if you're ever bored during this video, get back into it by donating and helping us out on the channel here. But you can always donate. We have a GoFundMe and a Patreon in the channel description. Go to the About tab in the channel, and you'll be able to find those links. They're pretty good links. You should check them out. Okay, so we're gonna start out here with the first four. I'm gonna choose who I think is gonna win in the first four games. Now these usually don't count in scoring, but I'm gonna pick them anyways because I'm pretty good at picking them. So for the number 16 seed, who will be playing Villanova, it's Mount St. Mary versus New Orleans. And I know Mount St. Mary's a great team, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Mount St. Mary for that one. Providence versus USC. USC is a strong powerhouse this year. I don't know why they're 11 seed. I'm going to go ahead and pick them. North Carolina Central versus UC Davis. I'm going to go ahead and pick UC Davis on that one. And Kansas State versus Wake Forest. This is a toughie one. They're two similar teams, you know. But you always got to go Kansas State. They're a great team out here. So there's my first four picks. Mount St. Mary will win their game, USC will win their game, UC Davis will win their game, and Kansas State will be winning their playing games. Those are some great picks off the start. Great picks. Great picks. Okay. So now we're just going to move on to the East region. We're going to be doing first round, all first round first, and then we'll be moving on. So in the East region, we have Villanova versus whoever wins between Mount St. Mary or New Orleans, who I think it will be Mount St. Mary. But whoever wins that playing game, Villanova will be winning that first game. Villanova will be winning that first game. Now, the next game we have here is 8-seeded Wisconsin and 9-rated seeded Virginia Tech. This is a great game. Great game. This will be a great game. But Wisconsin is so underseeded here, so we got to go Wisconsin here. And it's a great game. Oh, but I messed that up. Okay, Wisconsin's there. Now we got Virginia versus UNC Wilmington. Okay, I do think UNC Wilmington will be putting up a good fight in this game, but overall Virginia will be coming out on top in my predictions I have here. Now we have Florida versus Eastern Tennessee. This is an easy pick for me, Florida. Easy pick right there. Now, some of you would be like, why is that an easy pick? Well, it's Florida. That's why it's an easy pick, yeah. SMU versus my predicted USC. Always got to go USC here. USC all day here. SMU versus USC. USC will end up winning that. It'll be a close game. I'm predicting that SMU loses by 1 to USC. It'll lose by 1. That is my prediction out here today. So, next game up here is Baylor versus New Mexico State. Now this will be a good game, but Baylor will end up pulling away in this game. Baylor will pull away from this game, and they will ultimately win versus New Mexico State. So Baylor moving on. Now we got South Carolina versus Marquette. This is a pretty good game here we can get here, but overall, I'm going to be choosing South Carolina on this one. And you know, South Carolina is a great team. Marquette is also another great team though. So overall, I will be choosing South Carolina on this one. And I predict South Carolina will win this game by 20 points. They'll be pretty dominant over Marquette. So South Carolina will be winning that game. Now we're moving on to Duke versus Troy. Duke, easy money. Gonzaga versus South Dakota State. Gonzaga, easy. Northwestern versus Vanderbilt. Close game. Northwestern will win this game, I believe, and I will think that a Vanderbilt player will make a stupid mistake in the final few seconds, make a stupid foul, thinking that Vanderbilt was up, but thinking that Northwestern was up, thinking they had to foul, but little did he know that Vanderbilt was up and he didn't have to foul. That's just my prediction of what I think is going to happen. So Northwestern will be winning that game. Notre Dame versus Princeton, it'll be close all game, but I really do believe that Notre Dame will come on top by 2 points right here. So we're going Notre Dame here. West Virginia versus Bucknell. I think it's an easy choice. A 6-point victory for West Virginia is what I will be predicting for that. Maryland versus Xavier. I'm going Xavier with this one. Xavier is a great team, very underseeded here. Florida State versus Florida Gulf Coast. I'm going Florida State in that first round. St. Mary's versus VCU. St. Mary's. Easy choice. Now we got a Arizona versus North Dakota. We're going Arizona. Now we are moving to the Midwest section. Kansas versus my predicted UC Davis. Kansas, I believe, will be winning that game. Miami versus Michigan State. Michigan State, easy money right there. Michigan State, never count them out. Iowa State versus Nevada. I'm going Iowa State with that pick. Purdue versus Vermont. I'm saying Purdue. Creighton versus Rhode Island. I'm predicting the upset of Rhode Island in this pick. Great picks. Oregon versus Iona. I'm going Oregon in that pick. Michigan versus Oklahoma State. Michigan is hot right now after that Big Ten championship. So I'm believing Michigan will be winning by 1 point in that game. It will be a close game. 1 point, I think, will be the difference. Louisville versus Jacksonville State. Louisville. Now we got North Carolina versus Texas Southern here in the South region now. Now I will be choosing North Carolina. I think they can drop at least 103 points on this team. North Carolina is a highly offensive, efficient team, and I really do think they can drop 103 points on Texas Southern. Now we have Arkansas versus Seton Hall. I'm going Arkansas here. It'll be a close game. Minnesota versus Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee for the win on that one. Butler versus Winthrop. We got Butler here. And Cincinnati versus Wake Forest. Oh no, versus Kansas State or Wake Forest, which I choose Kansas State, but Cincinnati will win that first round game. UCLA versus Kent State. It will be UCLA with LeVar Ball doing all the work. We will now have Dayton versus Wichita, and Wichita will be winning that game. Kentucky versus Northern Kentucky will be an easy 9-point win for Kentucky is my prediction. So that's some great choices I just made there. Misspelled that there. Okay. Now we will be moving on to the second round now. Villanova versus Wisconsin. This will be a close game all the way through, but I believe Wisconsin will be on that come up versus to upset the number 1 seed Villanova. It will be in a crazy game out here, but overall I do think Wisconsin wins by 3 points. It'll be crazy. This next game we got Virginia versus Florida. You know, I don't know. I'll have to come back to that one. I got USC versus Baylor. I'm going to have to go USC there. USC is a great team. Let's go back to Virginia versus Florida. I'm going to go ahead and say Virginia on that one. Virginia's a good team. South Carolina versus Duke. We're going to have to go Duke on that one. Zaga versus Northwestern. Definitely Zaga. All the way Gonzaga. Notre Dame versus West Virginia. West Virginia. Xavier versus Florida State. Xavier will be moving on as the 11th seed. St. Mary's versus Arizona. We will keep going with Arizona there. Now, moving on this side, Kansas versus Michigan State. I think Michigan State is playing well up there. They're going to beat Kansas. Iowa State versus Purdue. We're going with Purdue here to move on. Rhode Island versus Oregon. Rhode Island will be moving on. Michigan versus Louisville. Louisville will be moving on. Arkansas versus North Carolina. North Carolina will be moving on. Butler versus Middle Tennessee. Butler will be moving on. Cincinnati versus UCLA. UCLA will be moving on. Wichita State versus Kentucky. Wichita State will be moving on. Now, Wisconsin versus Virginia. Wisconsin will be moving on. USC versus Duke. USC will be moving on. Zaga versus West Virginia. I think Zaga will be moving on in that game. Xavier versus Arizona. Xavier will be moving on to the Elite Eight. UCLA versus Wichita. Wichita will be moving on. Butler versus North Carolina. Butler will be upsetting the #1 seed there. And Michigan State versus Purdue. Purdue will end up beating Michigan State. Rhode Island versus Louisville. Louisville will be moving on. And now we're Wisconsin versus USC. I think USC will be pulling up to the Final Four, along with Gonzaga versus Xavier. Gonzaga will be moving on to the Final Four. Wichita State versus Butler. Butler will be moving on into the Final Four. Purdue versus Louisville. Purdue will be moving on to the Final Four. So now our Final Four is USC, Gonzaga, Purdue, and Butler. Overall, in this first game here, USC versus Zaga. I will now be going more in depth with these great picks I'm making here. These are some great picks I'm making. Some great picks I'm making right here. Okay, so you guys need to stay tuned for this, because these are going to be some great opportunities for you guys to get inside knowledge on how to make your brackets. Especially those first round picks I made. I think I really got those first rounds nailed down, and a portion of the second ones I got nailed down too. But man, the first rounds, those are nailed on the money. So versus first USC versus Gonzaga in this first Final Four matchup. USC is a powerful team, but Gonzaga has depth in their team. But I think USC is fired up. They want to be here more than Gonzaga, and it'll show in their game. So I will be saying that USC will be playing for a chance. The University of Southern Carolina. That's right, Southern Carolina. It's not Southern California. Southern Carolina will be playing against the winner of Purdue and Butler. This is an Indiana schools matchup right here. Honestly, Purdue will end up choking like they always do, and Butler will be moving in to the championship game versus USC, University of Southern Calabasas. And my national champion, USC versus Butler, in the final game here. We got an 11 seed versus a 4 seed in this finals right here. I will be choosing, while I'm thinking about who I will be choosing, you guys need to make sure you donate out here. Donating is the key for making me to get the education I need to make these picks right here. Look at it. I have this all filled out perfectly. USC versus Butler right there in the finals, as you can tell, making those good picks out there. USC versus Butler in the finals. I am choosing as the national champion of this year, 2017 NCAA basketball in the March Madness tournament. The champion, USC versus Butler, is, can I get a drum roll? Can I get a drum roll? Will it be USC? Will it be Butler? Who knows? Let's see. Let's get a drum roll, please. Ooh, it is South Dakota State. Yes, you guys did not see that coming. But my champion is South Dakota State University. You guys did not see that one coming. Especially in my finals matchup, I had the USC versus Butler, but I had South Dakota State ended up winning it all right there. Like, no one even saw them coming, I'm thinking, is what's going to happen. USC and Butler are both going to choke, and then South Dakota State's going to come out, even though they're not in the game, and they're just going to win it. So, there's my bracket. If you really want to see all of it, just go ahead and pause it right here. There you go. Go ahead and pause that video. Right there. Right there. And while you're pausing, while you're just taking a look at this, always you can make sure to go ahead and donate whenever you're feeling like it. This is a great bracket right here. Shout out to SB Nation for getting this printable bracket for me to write on here to show you guys. So yeah, guys, that was a great lengthy video, but it was all worth it at the end. Aren't you glad you just wasted 14 minutes of your life watching this video? Make sure to donate.